What's up guys, Petko here. Today we're going to talk about Shaman Season 3 10.2 PTR, what's coming up, new builds, how Shaman is feeling so far, any problems, etc. Things that you guys asking me for the past couple of days on stream, and I'm going to try my best to identify that, explain it to you, and hopefully solve a lot of things that are ahead of us. Alright, so the first thing first is, I would like to mention, going forward to 10.2, we're going to be having a new tier set. Well, that was obvious, right? So the new tier set is pretty easy, straightforward. As you can see, the elemental blast trigger from the primordial wave. As soon as you cast it, you get it, and once you get it, it does the full damage, and it also gives you the 3 bonuses, which is going to be mastery, haste, and crit. Now, it is important to note here that you do not have to have elemental blast as a talent to proc the 2Ps. Technically, without the elemental blast, your single target will struggle a lot, especially when you are favoring a lot more on like fire builds, just because fire builds are playing primordial wave and no lightning build plays primordial wave, give or take. So I feel like elemental blast is gonna be must have next year. Now the force set itself is pretty straightforward, but I'll read it to you. When consuming primordial wave for 10 seconds afterwards, lava burst burns your target for 25% additional damage over 4 seconds. By the way, that stacks, so you can technically, it kind of works like ignite of a mage, right? You can infinitely stack it as much as you can in those 10 seconds. So the more, the better. And for 10 seconds, each chain lightning causes your lava burst to hit up to 3 additional targets that are affected by your flame shock. Now this also triggers the rolling magma talent, so essentially giving a CDR on your primordial wave. So this interaction itself is really good for Mythic Plus, I would not lie to you. Hence why you're gonna see on screen in a little bit, there is a build called the Earthquakeless build, where you don't really cast any earthquakes and your damage is like insanely high. Like you could burst very big numbers, like likely one of the highest numbers right now on like 4, 5, 6 targets. The problem here is it's very degenerate playstyle. That means you don't spend any earthquake, you just cast chain lightning, lava surge, chain lightning, lava surge, reset primordial wave, cast primordial wave, and then you want to spend it on lava surge again just to trigger the effect itself. It is something that only works on like targets that have a high HP, so you can sustain that kind of damage, but genuinely I don't like the playstyle, but it's very OP, and I think it's likely to get changed down the line. Now speaking about builds, I feel like the more traditional wildfire build to the elemental blast right now felt the greatest. I mean, I've been testing it for the past, like, it's been like maybe a bit more than a week, and to me wildfire plus elemental blast right now performs the best. Now the icy hot build might still be relevant in some dungeons where you don't pull as big, where it's like 3-4 mobs at a time, a bit more ST, sure. But I feel like in most of the dungeons, you'll be playing Wildfire with Elemental Blast. Now, that being said, you can also decide to play Storm build, although Storm builds right now are not as great just because the tier set doesn't really interact well with your 2Ps and 4Ps, which is something to, like, you know, worth mentioning out there. So you'll be surprised how well it performs the tier set with the combination of the new talents. Well, I guess the new changes with the 4Ps, which is relevant. So that's about builds. If you guys are curious about builds, you guys can go back and check all my videos that I posted about previous builds. Those hold still the basics. Obviously, I'm going to update you guys as soon as I can, and I will make a season 3 Elemental Shaman guide for Mythic Plus. Now, rate-wise, things are a little bit different. A lot of people are opt on testing for the Beyond build on single target, which, you know, it has like a insanely high uptime. But again, I think it's a bit too early to say about rating, because I don't think tuning has yet passed, so I believe they will adjust Earthquake, because I don't think the developers would like us to play without Earthquake, you know, because that's the core of the Shaman, the core spender. So I believe Earthquake will be present at some point down the line, and it's gonna get buffed. I really hope so. I'm like 99.9% sure that's gonna happen. About single target, we are already competitive enough, but I think we're still lacking rate utility to be picked up in the rating slots, just because augmentation exists. I think that's gonna eat our space. Or some people are gonna say, wow, but you having a Windrush Totem, sure, but that's not a relevant utility. You know, a Druid with a Stampeding Roar can be just as good as you. So there's no reason to bring Elliot to the table, and the only solution here is to make a Sky Fury Totem a baseline talent, or make it at least an optional talent that we can take, something to identify and make us unique, so people can have the opinion of whether or not we should be taken instead of enhancer, because right now in raiding there isn't really a lot of like volume to be taken. You know, I think like most of the people would prefer to have enhanced over Ellie, but I feel a little bit disappointed, and I hope developers watching this video, or at least you guys, can voice out your opinion too, because I've been advocating on YouTube for a long time, and also on Twitter and my Twitch, that we need raid utility urgently, else we will be seeing a lot less Ellies going into the next tiers, which is very sad to see, because it's a very unique and amazing spec to play, and I really enjoyed myself. Anyway, sticking back to the point right now, build wise, you'll be already preparing to go for fire builds, which we don't know yet which one would be OP, but in my opinion, wildfire with elemental blast, it feels extremely good so far from my personal testing, but it's yet to be confirmed which one will be the best, you know, down the line potentially. Rate wise for the beyond, felt the best so far, especially on the pure ST, given the fact that you can also have a good funnel, but again, time is gonna tell which one is gonna be good. Final thoughts so far. I think Ellie is in a kind of weird position where they're not so bad in Mythic Plus, but they're not great either. And the same thing about raiding, we don't do bad single target, but we're not amazing. But because of the lack of utility, I feel like Ellie is gonna be a likely bottom performer in raid, even if you have good damage. I think the lack of utility will not be something people will miss on. So I would love to see those adjustments happen very soon. I don't think they're gonna adjust to have a raid utility anytime soon this season, maybe next season or maybe next expansion, I don't know for now, chat. But so far, those are like my first impressions. If you guys like to see more Ellie Shaman on PTR or any other class that I'm currently testing myself on PTR, you're welcome to join me every Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday from lunchtime until evening time, European time. I'm testing mostly all classes, if not all classes and specs in the game on PTR live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Petko. You guys can come here, enjoy the show and follow me as well. Anyway, I wish you guys a great evening or morning or whatever you are, and I'll see you once again on Twitch. Take care guys, much love, bye for now.